Every 2 years, golf forgets to be polite. After U-turns into chest bumps, whispered good shots turn into 120 decibel chanting, and people who normally argue with their caddies become team players. Sort of. Welcome to the Ryder Cup, golf's greatest rivalry, part sporting event, part 3-day group project where nobody wants to be the one who chunked it on 18. The Origins, aka a man, a trophy, and some very strong tea. It all begins with Samuel Ryder, a wealthy English seed merchant who made his fortune selling packets of peas and other garden staples. Yes, the seeds for the biggest team event in golf were planted by a professional seed planter. A golf enthusiast and club captain at Verulam in St. Albans, Ryder wanted to create something that would inspire competition and camaraderie across the Atlantic. In 1926, an unofficial Great Britain versus USA match at Wentworth went off like a dream, with American stars such as Walter Hagen and Jim Barnes taking on Britain's best. Ryder was so impressed that he decided to fund a permanent trophy for future contests with his likeness perched on top that he hoped would embody sportsmanship and prestige. The first official Ryder Cup followed in 1927 at Worcester Country Club in Massachusetts. Team USA, captained by the suavest man alive, Walter Hagen, swept to a 9.5 to 2.5 victory. The cup was born, Britain looked across the fairways and collectively sighed. Ah, they're quite good. The early years, America collects the set. For decades, the United States treated the Ryder Cup like a personal home gym, always there, rarely intimidating, with lineups featuring Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Arnold Palmer, and eventually Jack Nicklaus. The Americans dominated to the point where the cup felt less like a contested prize and more like a 2-year timeshare across the Atlantic. From 1935 through 1983, Team USA won 19 of 22 contests, a streak of supremacy that turned the scoreboard into a formality. British and Irish sides, often underfunded and underprepared, gamely fielded their best, but optimism was doing most of the heavy lifting. Every so often, there was a close contest, but more often the Americans swatted aside the challenge with major champions stacked one after another. Crowds began to drift away, the sense of drama evaporating. The Ryder Cup was viewed less as cutthroat competition and more as a friendly exhibition. What it desperately needed was a plot twist and a new cast of characters to supply it: the European Revolution. Seve enters the chat. 1979 marked a turning point. Great Britain and Ireland officially became Team Europe. The reason? Balance. The Americans had been steamrolling for decades, and the inclusion of continental players was meant to even things up. What Europe actually got was Seve Ballesteros, fiery, fearless, and impossible to ignore. With his flair for recovery shots and fist-pumping bravado, he instantly changed the Cup's personality. Before long, he was joined by Jose Maria Olazábal, and together they created a partnership that gave Europe not just talent, but swagger. Suddenly, the team didn't look like plucky underdogs anymore. They looked like trouble. By 1985 at the Belfry, Europe finally broke through with their first modern victory. 2 years later, in 1987, they went one better, winning in America at Muirfield Village. The stunned U.S. galleries didn't know whether to clap politely or panic quietly. Somewhere in Ohio, a man leaned over and whispered, "Who is this Seve? Is Seve the Ryder Cup GOAT or just another overhyped European?" Let us know what you think in the comments. The rivalry turns spicy. Bring your nerves and ear plugs. From the 1990s onward, the Ryder Cup stopped being polite golf theater and became full-contact psychology with flags. 1991, War on the Shore, Kiawah Island. The wind howled, tempers boiled, and sportsmanship frayed. Camouflage caps, hostile galleries, Seve versus Azinger trading barbs. It felt less like a golf match and more like trench warfare with wedges. 1999, the Battle of Brookline. Europe led 10-6 before the U.S. staged an outrageous comeback. Justin Leonard's bomb on 17 sparked celebrations so premature the green looked like a mosh pit, while Jose Maria Olazábal still had a putt left. Controversy aside, it was volcanic theater. 2012, the miracle at Medinah. Europe trailed 10-6, then turned Sunday into a Disney script written in birdies and tears. Poulter's eyes, McIlroy's dash, Keimer's putt. Grown men sprinting, sobbing, and fist-pumping in unison. By now, The Ryder Cup wasn't just golf, it was transformation. Europeans morphing into rock stars, Americans discovering they could lose their cool. Legacy meets Netflix drama. The modern era. By the 2020s, the Ryder Cup had matured into something bigger than just a golf match. It became a global spectacle. Every contest was now broadcast in cinematic detail, dissected on social media, and binge-watched later on Netflix. No longer just about putts and pairings. It was about theater. Captains became part strategists, part showrunners. Players stepped into roles, heroes, villains, underdogs, and the crowd played along as the 13th man. By the time Rome 2023 rolled around, it felt like the Ryder Cup had completed its transformation. Not just golf's loudest week, but one of sport's great global dramas. And if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. The format: 3 days, 28 points, infinite stress. The Ryder Cup isn't stroke play, it's match play, which means your opponent can rattle you as much as the course itself. Every hole is its own battle, and momentum can flip with a single putt. Across 3 days, the drama unfolds in 3 flavors. Foursomes, alternate shot. 2 players, 1 ball. It's golf's ultimate trust fall. Hit it straight and you're a saint. Carve it into the trees and you've just booked your partner a long weekend of therapy. Precision and patience matter more than raw power. Fourballs, better ball. Everyone plays their own ball and the best score counts. This is where one teammate can morph into a superhero while the other chips in with, "I was providing moral support." Birdie streaks and fearless rookies often emerge here. Singles, Sunday. 12 head-to-head matches, the finale. Careers are made, legends are minted, and captains stand over the scoreboard like traders watching a stock market crash. There are 28 points in total. First to 14.5 wins. If it ends 14-14, the holders keep the cup. Golf's polite way of saying, "You've drawn, kindly put the trophy back where you found it." The captain. Now you might be wondering, what does the captain actually do? A Ryder Cup captain wears more hats than a pro shop clearance rack. They pick the pairs, set the order, read the wind, manage egos, and then lie awake pretending to sleep. Get the pairings right and you're a visionary. Get them wrong and Twitter builds a 40-post thread about your sock choices. They're part CEO, handling logistics and speeches, part therapist, keeping 12 players and their caddies, believing they're the secret weapon, and part weatherman, reading gusts, greens, and the mood of the crowd. A raised eyebrow can be as important as a pep talk. Vice captains? They're the backup dancers with spreadsheets, whispering stats, tracking matchups, and occasionally acting as emotional airbags when tempers flare. When it works, the captain looks like a genius conductor. When it doesn't, well, history remembers the pairing, not the excuses. Icons and archetypes. Cast of a very intense sitcom. The European spark plug. Think Poulter, aka the postman, because he always delivers and occasionally terrifies. The American hammer. A guy who wins his match 7-6 and smiles like it's a breakfast meeting. The rookie who didn't get the memo. Arrives, wins everything, accidentally becomes a folk hero. The steely veteran. Sinks a 10-footer while 20,000 people sing at them, then shrugs like they just found a parking spot. Why it hits different. Team golf equals chaos mode. Most weeks' golf is solitary, a quiet walk broken up by intrusive thoughts and polite applause. The Ryder Cup rips up that script. Add teammates, crowd songs, and the weight of national pride, and suddenly a 6-footer isn't just about prize money. It's your continent, your friends, and a WhatsApp group you'll never hear the end of if you lip out. It's the one week when players reveal everything. Stoic pros who normally tip their cap are suddenly chest-thumping like prize fighters. You see fist pumps, tears, primal roars, and sheepish apologies to partners for that experimental flop shot on 17. Careers built on calmness can look unrecognizable under team pressure. For fans, it's a full roller coaster. Wild momentum swings, scoreboard whiplash, and those single putts that live rent-free in your head for years. The Ryder Cup turns golf from measured into manic, and that's why it hits different. And that's largely down to the culture clash, but make it friendly-ish. The Ryder Cup is more than golf. It's a transatlantic personality test. The Americans arrive with horsepower, depth, and galleries that chant so loudly you could time your backswing to the rhythm. They bring major champions stacked like poker chips, and a belief that sheer firepower can bulldoze any format. Europe, by contrast, leans on chemistry, crafty pairings, and the collective sense that being 2 down with 3 to play is the perfect time to start a comeback. Their strength isn't just in star names, but in trust. Rookies riding alongside legends, captains weaving partnerships like puzzles, and the whole team buying into the underdog script even when they're favorites. It's styles, eras, and egos colliding, usually sealed with a handshake, sometimes sharpened with a glare, and more often than not, drowned out by a song from the grandstands. We'll be covering all things Ryder Cup, so stay tuned, and don't forget to like and subscribe.